When you are. Hi. For those of you who think you're screwing up because you're nervous, upset, tense, bumping into your shadow, you are not. If you're not nervous, tense, frustrated, upset, bumping into your shadow, you're doing something wrong. You're not paying attention. This is the time, right now, at the end of 2012, where we have decided to finish. It was 2010 that the whole Mayan calendar thing ended and the new space began. In 2011, we saw the birth of the world minds and some serious changes in the world. Now, in the last year since then, I have been making weekly and sometimes daily changes on a very large scale. It's this year, around Christmas, that I have decided to finish it, to finish weaving it together. Now, it's going to take many years to sort itself out, but this is the time that I've decided that all the pieces come together. In order to make that happen, I've had to not just make a lot of changes, but to start funneling them all down together. So things that were all over the map are coming down to a focus point around the 22nd of this month, which I believe is next Saturday, a week from today. Right? From there, they're going to spread out just a little and come back together, a little lens shape, on the 28th. And the 28th is going to be when all of those energies finally focus together and then move forward to something that will define the course of the worlds until the next big changing of the ages, which is, as far as any of you are concerned, extremely long time away. In order to do this thing, to bring it all down into a point, and then this little focusing time, and the large releasing, it's involved not just a lot of changes, but all of these changes being woven together and brought together and made more and more intense. It's as if, well, if any of you have ever gone rafting, I'm talking whitewater rafting, it's crazy and out of control, but just sitting on an inner tube or a small boat floating down a creek, a river. What you'll notice is that when it spreads out wide, it moves really slow and gentle. Anytime it gets narrow, it starts moving faster. What I am doing right now is taking all these things and narrowing them down into a single channel to effectively or almost a single point, which means with everything, all these forces coming together, the pace is picking up like mad. Lots and lots of push, rushing through into something new and ideally amazing. But that means all of you, not just you here in this room or you listening, it means everybody. Trees, bunnies, grasshoppers, everybody is right now feeling caught in this torrent moving forward. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is something you can't change. This is something you can't avoid. This is something you can't move away from. The only way out of this one is through it. Now, I'm not going to talk about the outcome or what's happening next. Not right now. I'm going to talk about these next two dates, the 22nd and the 28th. Now, we're talking now, and it's the 15th of December, 2012. We're going to do another one of these talks on the 22nd, next Saturday. And we will get together on the 28th. It's likely that I'll talk for a bit on the 28th as well, or whether that gets broadcast. Up to you guys to decide. And so right now, what do you do for the next week? Let me point out that our person here, who's the resident expert on swagger and being flashy and fun, has increasingly lately been spending time curled up in a little ball, hiding from the world and all the stuff he used to do. Our big, strong, tough guy here, people say behave or we'll sick an alien on you, and they go, eep! Would like to curl up under the couch and hide. Right? Our top censor is practicing being a shaper for the day because she just doesn't know if she wants to be a censor anymore. Our top shaper is thinking about being a censor. All kinds of craziness is bubbling up. You can't help it. You do your best to stay grounded. You do your best to keep breathing. And you do everything you can to stay in your center. But you're not going to keep your feet on the ground. When it's moving this fast, all you can do is let go and let it carry you. Try and keep your head above water. Try not to panic. Which means for the next 2 weeks, stop trying to get everything right. Stop trying to be a superhero. Do them in this order. Center, breathe, ground. Ka-tone, true self. LPA, if you have one, your archetype. A3M, B3F, whatever it is. And that means that if you're stable, you should be holding your LPA, your tone. But if it's getting crazy and you can't hold it, then you drop that one off and you step back one. Just come back to Ka-tone, being who you truly are. And if it's crazy enough that you can't hold that, then you let it go and you fall back one more. Right? I think the order I just put them in was center, breathe, ground. So if you can't, if you're too crazy to even hold on to who you are, just stay grounded, GCB. And if you find you're still overwhelmed and out of control and don't know what to do, fall back a little bit. Just stay in your center and breathe, because breathing's good. And if you get so freaked out and out of control you can't even do that, well, just stay in your center. Just stay you. Just stay as much you as possible. And you say, well, why does that matter? I'll use a few examples. I just spoke of riding on a raft or an inner tube down a stream. Imagine that a tree falls in the forest. You can be there to hear it if you want. All right? It falls into the stream. It's floating downstream, being its own little tree self. It comes to a place where the stream narrows and is moving very fast. Right? And it's going roots first with all the leaves dragging behind, slowing it down, and it just shoots right through there. Goes on downstream. Right? But let's imagine that instead of doing that, it gets turned sideways. Comes down to that place in the stream, bam, it's going to get stuck. All this other stuff's going to get stuck behind it. Little branches, beavers, floating rocks, backing up behind it and making a mess. Another example. Those of you who are mothers understand what a breech birth is. Now, for those of you who don't, relatively speaking, a baby's a pretty big thing and it comes out of a pretty small hole when it's born. And ideally, that baby wants to come out head first, and then its arms and its legs will come out. And sometimes babies want to show off and they decide to go out feet first. Right? Look, Mom, no hands. Pfft. You know, a good doctor can handle that. Take them out feet first. But every so often, one of them just gets stupid. Says, I'm going to do this butt first. Right? Baby comes out butt first. And its hands and its feet and its hips and its head and its legs are all stuck inside. In the history of the human species, a whole lot of women and a whole lot of babies have died. When this happens, it's not a good thing, because the baby gets stuck and can't go through. Now, another example. Imagine that you're shooting a gun, and the bullet's going down the barrel and out the end. What happens if your barrel's dirty, or something stuck in there, and the bullet hits it and twists? Well, it's going fast enough that even a little bit of being knocked off center can make it turn sideways, and the front end of your gun can just blow up and be a heck of a mess. The same is true in many, many different domains. I'd imagine a kid going down a water slide. Sticks their arms and legs out and goes down sideways. They're not going to come out the end. Had lots of different metaphors, but they all say the same thing. If you are in line with the current, not just in the current, but in line with it, you'll shoot right through there. If you're not, if you're turned sideways, if you're fighting and struggling, if you're all kinds of tense, you may find that as all this comes together, you're going to get yourself stuck. And it's going to hurt. Because in this case, the current's not going to stop for you. This is too big for any one person. Right? So you want to make this as easy as possible. You want to stay in line with this current. And this is why I say, if you do nothing else, stay in your guts. As much as possible, stay centered. Because when you're doing that, you're feeling, you're breathing, you're sourcing, you're grounding, you're doing all of this stuff. You're who you are. And you will naturally move along with the current. If you start saying, oh my goodness, there's messy stuff there, and you leap out and you're over here somewhere, or up in your head trying to solve equations or figure out Einstein, or, you know, you're aloof up here somewhere above your head, not even part of your body, you're dissociated. If you're not in here, you're going to take yourself out of the flow of that current and get turned around sideways. And when you get slammed through that narrowing, that opening, it's going to be painful. So, for the next 7 days, and that's really an astoundingly short time considering how long we've been working on this. For the next 7 days, just stay in your guts. If you've got the energy, ground, center, breathe, hold on to your katon, practice your LPA. If you've got the energy, do those things. All of those will make it easier. But stay in the flow, stay with it. And as much as possible for the next week, talk to everybody. Because everybody's going to be freaking out. Everybody's going to get nervous. When people get nervous, they get stupid. They forget to do things. They refuse to do things. They start taking it serious. Oh my goodness, my life's falling apart. Everything's terrible. No, it's just a messy time. If you're talking to everybody and someone's getting a little wiggy, you can say, hey, you're getting a little wiggy. Get back in your guts. Or if you are having trouble, someone else will remind you. Right? So talk to one another over and over. It's only 7 days here. Even if you hate people and you never want to talk to anybody again, for the next 7 days, keep talking to the rest of the folks. Stay in your guts. And this is really the good news. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to hold an intention or make a plan or any of that stuff. Because this is happening no matter what you do. All you have to do is write it. Now, a couple of optional things you can do. Couple, exactly 2. One, you can try and enjoy it. This is something that happens once every incredibly many thousands of years. This is a rare thing. This is an astoundingly rare thing. And you, for whatever reason, are lucky enough to be alive while it's happening. This is not something that happens like Halley's Comet once every so often. Right, this is something that your children's children's grandchildren won't even dream of being close enough to see the next time is that far in the future. You're here. Try and pay attention. Try and notice what's going on. Try and enjoy it. Ooh, wow, this is crazy and weird. Oh, that's different. Oh, I've never seen that before. It's okay. You'll probably never see it again. Try and enjoy it. That's one. And two, I think of this because yesterday, I think it was, for an hour and a half, I heard people around here caught up in all kinds of drama because some kid shot his mom or shot another kid with a gun or something. I don't know what the details were. I don't care. This is a big, huge world, right? Just the part you know there are billions of people. Right now there are people shooting each other, there are people beating each other, there are people abusing their children. There are all kinds of horrible things going on. There are wars and rumors of wars and famines and diseases. But see, the new energy is not those things. The new energy, what's coming in, what's happening, what's changing, what's exploding out into all that you know, is something of harmony and joy and celebration. And right now, there's somebody dedicating the rest of their life to helping others. And right now, somewhere, there's someone helping a person who's fallen, helping an old lady across the street. There are police officers who are sacrificing their lives to protect individuals. There are firefighters running into burning buildings to save lives. There are medics and paramedics putting themselves in harm's way to help others. Right now, there are teachers going to work and teaching or planning their lessons for tomorrow to give the kids the best chance they can for the future. There are parents who are giving and giving and giving an often seemingly thankless job to give their children a chance for success. There are all these people who are giving so much to help the rest of this world. For the next week, if you want to pay attention to the news, if you want to watch the world, look for those things. Look for things that are in the flow of this change. People who are amazing, people who are beautiful, people who are trying. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, of fights, of conflicts, of drama, oh, so-and-so said something about someone else, so-and-so's not my friend anymore because they did this. My boss is a jerk, my employees are idiots, my spouse is a loser. Just set that stuff aside for the next week. And with any energy you've got left, focus on the most amazing things you can find. And if you can't find them, imagine them. In a world as big as this, they're probably going on somewhere. I mean, some of you people have an idea what I've been doing. How many people in the world, outside of those of you who are aware, think that anyone like me could exist, doing the stuff that I'm doing? Right? But somewhere there's a kid imagining it. I imagine this amazing person or group of people doing all this stuff to make the world into what I really want it to be, something beautiful and incredible and wonderful. And it's happening, even though they don't know. They can imagine it, and somewhere in the world, in this case here, it's happening. For the next week, this is what I want from you, those two things. Try and enjoy it, which means paying attention, which means not taking it seriously, which means looking for the good stuff, remembering to smile. Every so often you sit back and close your eyes and look deep inside and find something in there that's actually going, whoa, yay, this is cool. And actually feel that and enjoy it. If you dig trees, go hang out with a tree. You like to drive fast, go drive fast. You like to roller skate, go roller skate. But do the thing that puts you in the flow and helps you to enjoy. Most of you have ridden an elevator. Any of you ever ridden a very fast elevator? Very tall buildings have very fast elevators. Yeah? Okay, let's imagine you get in the elevator on the ground floor. You push floor 132. Zoom! The feeling in your belly, what's it do? The feeling in your belly goes up? You've never ridden in a fast elevator. You're also not a scientist. Your body is going up very fast. Your guts have inertia. They're trying to stay in the same place. So it feels like your guts are falling at the bottom. Whoa! And likewise, if you're up at the top and you start to go down really fast, your guts seem like they're going woo, up here. Does it make sense?
Yes.
When you go up, your guts don't go up. Right? Because they're trying to stay here, and the rest of you's going woo. Your guts feel like they're going down. This makes sense, yeah? All of you are moving forward right now much faster than you realize. And you're moving forward in the direction of the things, the best things that you've thought of for yourself. Right? Like that elevator, moving very fast. The guts, the middle of you, actually feels like it's going in the other direction. Your guts feel like they're going down. They're not, or it'd be a heck of a mess in the elevator. Right? Your guts are going up with the rest of you. They just feel like they're going down because you're moving so fast. This is what you're going to find. You're moving in the direction you want to go so fast. Your guts feel like they're going the other direction. So if you have a gift for making noise, your guts are going to feel like, oh, I want to be silent and hide in the corner. If you have a gift for being strong, your guts are going to feel like, oh, I want to be weak and afraid. If you have a gift for caring about people, your guts are going to feel like, oh, I hate people. I wish they'd leave me alone. It doesn't matter what the thing is. Whichever direction you're pointed as you're going up, your guts are going to feel like they're trying to go in the other direction. It's not you doing something wrong. The elevator's moving very fast. When I was in high school, which was before many of you were born, I was in a strange group of intellectual, translated geeky, little kids called the Future Problem Solvers. And we would get together and they'd give us some impossible or difficult problem. And we would all sit around and brainstorm ways to solve it. And you know, eventually there'd be competitions where groups of people from different schools, the best problem solvers, would get together and problem like, all right, we're going to live under the oceans. How do we do it? All this stuff. How do we make transportation? How do we get food down there? You know, as I said, geeky young people. One of the things we talked about then is not actually science fiction, because people are talking about it now if they can find the money to do it. And that's making an elevator to space. Not a spaceship or a space shuttle, an elevator. And it stands there all the time. And you get on the thing and hit the up button, takes you all the way up outside the atmosphere. That's a big elevator. Well, unless you want to ride 6 weeks going up this elevator, ding, 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 clouds, ding, ding. The elevator's got to go really, really fast. And it's going to feel like your guts are getting left behind, because that's much taller than a 100-story building. This is a bit like that. It's going very far, so it has to go very fast. Going very fast, it's going to make your guts feel a little funny. You stick to the basics. G, C, B, Katon, LPA, communication. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourselves. Be gentle. These kinds of things. Just the basics of what we do. You don't have to be shaping magical tools that will change the world or trying to sense the deepest depths of the abyss. You don't have to be trying to ground the United Nations so that things will work better there. You don't need to be doing the big amazing projects for the next week. You have to be staying alive and staying in the flow. That's all. Now, as of the 22nd, sometime on the 22nd, all those lines will cross. And the moment will be so brief, bam. Probably none of you will notice it. You're going from compressing and compressing to expanding. It'll be so fast you won't notice. But what you will notice is the next week is very funny. You're used to time moving forward, or a train moving backwards, or sitting in an automobile or a limousine or on a motorcycle. In that time, it's not going to be like that. You're stable, moving in one direction. It's a little trapped bubble, and you're going to be pressed in from all sides. And it, if you're paying attention, is going to feel a bit strange. And so again, it'll be just like this week. It'll be a little different, but your methods will be the same. You just hold on to the basics. It's possible, even likely, that whereas right now, if you were to tune in, you can feel this sense of incredibly rushing speed. And in that week, that brief instant of time, what you're going to feel is like suddenly being in space and floating weightless in a capsule. Right? It's not going to have this incredible rushing forward. It's going to be a stopping, an isolated, sort of an eye of a storm. And then it's going to come out the other side and be crazy and rushing for a time. But it's going to come out and spread in all directions, so it will quickly slow down. Expect the following week to be a little strange. Some of you won't even notice, perhaps. You won't notice these feelings because your senses aren't good enough. But you'll notice that everything's weird. That the people in your life are acting weird. Your relationships are weird. Government and corporations and animals and trees and little floating rocks are all weird. It's okay. We'll talk about that one next time. That's not a big deal. For now, between now, the 15th of December, and next Saturday, the 22nd of December, just expect it to keep picking up speed. And no matter how fast it gets, it's going to get faster. Right? Up until that very last instant, more and more is pressing together, so it's going to be more powerful, more rapid. Just expect it. Don't take it serious. None of it's all that important. Not something you can change. It's not something you can control. Even the illusion of control is unavailable this week. You're just going to ride it. Think of it a bit like whitewater rafting. Except you've got a couple of very skilled guides up front, big, strong, burly guys with their paddles, and a couple of really skilled guides in the back. And you're sitting in the middle. All you got to do is hold on and feel the spray and watch the things race past you. That's all. Nothing you got to do. Keep your hands and feet inside. Keep yourself inside, in your center. And just ride it. That's all. Now, it's safe to say that I am so caught up in the changes that are happening at a level beyond which I know how to communicate, that I have little idea what the hoi polloi, the people of the world, are perceiving. I don't know. I know what I see you guys going through, but I don't actually know what it feels like. At this point, I'm living in a totally different time stream. So, do any of you, the ones online, the ones here in this room, do you have questions or comments about what's happened, about what's going to be in this next week? What to pay attention to or how to do it? Nobody? That's okay if you don't. In essence, none of you have the experience to know what's happening because you've never been through this before. And you haven't read any books on it because the world hasn't been through it before. Not this one. The last time a change like this happened was a very long time ago. And people were a very different race back then. They were probably still much more furry and living in little packs. I know. I know you did. I'm just curious if you'd find the nerve to ask.
The first one was center. What about all the people who never learned how to center?
What about them?
How can we help them?
All right, so I suggested that the most important thing you can do is to center. And what about all the people in the world that don't know this? Wow. I hope you don't think that as of the 1st of next year, there's going to be the 50 of you or whatever it is alive and everybody else gone.
No.
No. Everybody's going through this whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
Yes? The only reason for staying centered is staying focused is because it'll hurt if you don't. All these people who don't know how to center and be themselves, some of them are going to get lucky and just shoot right through there. Some of them are going to hit it sideways and end up getting a bit beat up. And no, you can't help them all. Not unless you can get the whole world to listen to you in the next week and convince them all to center. And while I hold respect for your ability to dream, I do not have sufficient respect for your actual competence to pull this off. And even if you did, there are foxes and badgers and trees and little floating rocks, and you can't reach all of them. Focus on yourself. Focus on getting yourself through this. Most people in their meta development are pretty tiny little creatures. They've never really come out of the egg. And generally speaking, eggs don't tend to have long protrusions that get stuck. They just, if they did, hens would be much less happy. Yes, eggs are made to, and most of them are just eggs. They'll go through just fine. It's those who have been working, developing, and changing and growing who are going to run into trouble. A lot of the intellectual types who are trying to follow a meta path by the mind. I think it was Martin who mentioned someone to me this week. This guy I've been reading, he seems really smart and he has all these good ideas. Yes, I know this guy. I've read some of his work. He's trying to do the entire meta path with logic. I found this, and this makes sense, so logically I'll do this, and I'll, this mathematically makes sense, so I'll draw this diagram, and it'll all be good. Those people are going to run into some trouble. Again, some of them will get lucky and just shoot right through. Some of them will try to go through ass first. Get a bit banged up. I do not see a way to wake your entire world up before this happens. And I'm not sure that I would if I could. It's in many ways, the way you wake up of a morning defines your attitude for the entire day. Right? You live in some place where the weather's wonderful, the window's open, a gentle breeze is blowing in, light shining maybe through some trees, falling across the bed. You wake up next to someone you care about. You just feel good, you stretch, you smile, you go out and have a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you have in the morning. Like, it's going to be an awesome day. Other times you wake up because your alarm's going off, it's dark, the first thing you do is stub your toe and end up in great pain, swearing as you hop around the floor. The car won't start, it's freezing outside, and you think, God, today is just going to suck. And the way you wake up somewhat sets the tone for your whole day. So if I could grab everyone in your world by the short hairs and say, wake up, do you think that would really set a useful tone for the next who knows how long? I think, wow, I'm so glad to be part of this. Probably better if they get a chance to wake up a little more gently. Start rolling over in their bed going, something's happening, but I think I'll sleep for another 10 years. Right. We'll let them navigate their own path. Let it happen a little more gently and organically. Too many people see the meta as a kind of machine. Ooh, I'll just source up this energy, I'll add some of that. And, it's like writing a program. A little for loop, a little while, a little this and that, a couple extra semicolons just in case. It'll all be fine. No, the meta is part of the real world. Well, let's say I use that loosely. Part of this world. And like everything in this world, it's organic. Unlike in some video games, trees aren't made out of little cubes. Not everything's shaped like a little cube. Trees have weird organic shapes. A little burrowing mammal makes a home. His tunnel's going to be windy. Right? It's not perfectly spherical and straight. Rivers, they follow these curvy paths. Clouds have unique shapes. Shorelines, all kinds of wonderful variation. This world is organic. And the meta process is organic. And what we are making happen is not hammering and nailing. It's not writing computer code. It's not building a jet engine. It's creating a kind of organic explosion of life so that all these new things are possible. And those that aren't useful anymore will fade away. Organic, natural, gentle. Does it make sense? You don't like it. The good news is you don't get a choice. It's happening. Whether you like it or don't like it's irrelevant. Why is that good news? Because you don't have any responsibility. You don't have to decide what's going to happen. You don't have to force it. If you screw it up, nothing's going to, not going to break the world. You don't get any say in the matter. It's just happening. And it's a whole lot bigger than any of you. It's much, much bigger than probably most of you have dreamed. It's not just this world. It's not just this place. It's not just this time. This is something massive spreading outward from the center. And this is the time where it passes here. So, does the other person with the question wish to ask it, or are they going to keep hiding in their spleen?
Maybe you wanted to know if it's still okay to shape things inside and outside the body, or that would be controlling too much.
Is it okay to shape things? Here's what I said. You don't get any say in what's going to happen. You're just riding in the boat. Yes. So you ground, you center, you breathe, Katon, LPA, and so on. Beyond that, you're just living your life. I don't think I told any of you to bury yourself in a time capsule. Didn't tell any of you to go in the basement with stockades of, water and food. Didn't tell anybody to hide away. I said live your life. Just stay centered. Teddy smart enough to understand this? Live your life. Stop asking me for permission. Scan. Decide. Do.
Teddy says okay.
All right. Hmm?
She says doing yay.
Teddy says yay, and that's actually a good point. I said there were really 2 extra things, and one of them is to try and enjoy it. What you'll find is what you're saying more important than what I'm saying? Okay. what you'll find is that rushing down the rapids at high speed is not an inherently fun thing. Your biology is not adapted to whitewater rafting. You don't put a 3-year-old in there and they go, oh yeah, this is cool. You don't put your cat in there and your cat says, oh, this is so natural, let's do it again. This is not a natural thing, right? When you go down a really big roller coaster, your biology doesn't say, oh, well, this seems incredibly natural, let's enjoy this. It says, ah! Yes? And so what do people do when they go down on a roller coaster? They put their hands up in the air and they scream. Why? Hands up in the air says I'm helpless, but it also says celebration. And screaming lets the body's, oh my God, this is too much reaction out. Instead of trying to bury it, it just lets it out. And in this way, they actually dive into the feeling of it. And they enjoy it. You'd think, well, you know, all this excitement, you want to sit there and hang on and focus. That's not a good way to ride a roller coaster. That's not a good idea. Enjoy. And enjoy is much easier with celebration. And celebration isn't something that happens by accident. Right? You're not walking down the street and trip on something. And, I fell on some celebration. Wow. Get this off. Ugh. Celebration. Celebration has to be done on purpose. So if 5 or 10 or 300 times a day, you want to stop right where you are, pay attention for a moment, and put your hands up and say, yay! That's okay. That's okay.
Yay!
Yes. It is okay. And it won't happen on its own. Learning to celebrate's like learning to walk. Right? You don't keep a baby in a box till it's 16. It's all right, you know, join the track team. You got to hold its little hands. Hold them up, yes? You hold its little hands. And it sort of moves one chubby leg a bit, and you say, yeah, you took a step. No, it didn't. Practically fell over. It wiggled its chubby leg a bit. That's okay. You celebrated. You took a step. Good job. And next time it does another one, and eventually it takes its first step on its own. Probably about 1, and then falls on its butt and maybe screams. And everybody's jumping up and down. Baby took a step. Baby took a step. Learning to celebrate's like learning to walk. You don't jump up for the first time in your life and join the track team. You put one chubby little leg out there. Ooh, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you do it again, and you do it again. And pretty soon you can be playing hopscotch. But you have to learn the skill. And the skill involves right now, not someday when your life is good, right now, looking inside or outside or around, finding something to celebrate and go, okay, fish. Yay, fish. Yes? You find a thing to celebrate and you celebrate it. Maybe you're not good at it. Maybe you look stupid. Maybe you fall on your butt. That's okay. Yes, I know. But you do this. You practice. And if you haven't started practicing yet, right now's a good time to start. And for the rest of your life, it's a good time to keep practicing. So, celebration can really help the whole having fun thing. It's possible if you're some kind of monk. To do this. Om. And really enjoy it. It's possible. You know, I haven't managed it, but it's possible. Om, this is so much fun. Om. Oh, this is so great. Oh, I could do this forever. But most people aren't wired that way. You have about as much chance of having fun that way as your cat does. Oh, meow. Not likely. No, you're better off to actually practice having fun. And that means making noise. That means feeling things. That means eating new foods, trying new sex positions, playing new games, meeting new people. That means standing on your head or climbing a tree or sleeping late one day or getting up before the sunrise and going running another day. It means trying different things. It means really experiencing them. And if you're not sure, try it again. And if you're not sure, try it again. If you tried it 20 or 30 times, you're still not sure, seek help. Right? But for the most part, keep trying things. You'll either find, I'm going to put that with the Om. Or, ooh, I'm going to put that with the yay. Right? Having fun is not innate. You get a bunch of drunk people at a party. Oh, dude, this is so great. Are we having fun? Oh, is this fun? This is fun. Yeah. If you gotta ask for confirmation, you're probably not having fun. Right? You're going, oh, dude. Is this fun? Are we having fun? No! Let's say that's obvious with a capital duh. No, that's not fun. When you're having fun, the corners of your mouth start to do this. Your eyes start to open a little bigger because you want to notice everything. And your body starts tingling and your breath gets a little faster. And this is what fun feels like. And that kind of fun takes practice. It's not natural. Your whole life you've been told to sit down, to shut up, to pay attention, to stay in line, to line up in alphabetical order, to sit at your desk, to write between the lines, to color between the lines. Nobody's taught you to have fun. It's something you're going to have to practice. And one of the best ways to do it is right now to put your hands up in the air and wave them around and say, yay!
Yay!
And I'll point out to you that except for the one grumpy person who refused to do it, every one of you has a big smile on your face. Everybody's smiling. It's difficult not to smile when you give the body its cues. Now, I taught you a long time back that if you sit down and cross your legs and then ground or feel your energy flow, right? And then you put your feet flat on the floor without your legs crossed and you feel your energy flow. There's a difference, right? I have told you, and some of you have tried it, that when you wear less clothes, you'll feel more energy moving. And when you wear a lot of clothes or tight clothes, you'll feel less energy moving. I have suggested to you, and if you haven't tried this, try it. Make energy move and then hold your breath. I'll bet none of you can keep energy moving while you're holding your breath. It's a really tough thing to do. When you stop the breath, everything stops. Your body is the cheat codes for the meta. And you Control Shift Alt C and the little window pops up. And you type in more money. Right? It's the cheat code for the game. When you're feeling insecure or afraid or uncertain, you put your feet flat on the floor. You sit up straight so the lower back from your hip to your nipples is straight. And you put your head up. Not to one side or down like you're afraid, but up. And you breathe deep. You're going to find in just a few seconds you start to feel less afraid and more confident. And on the contrawise, the flip side, if you curl up like this and kind of hide and turn your head way over to one side, and what you're going to find is you start getting more nervous and afraid. There isn't a choice. When you put your body in that pose, it changes you. Why do you suppose religions make you kneel and bow your head? When you kneel, it makes you feel submissive and you quit thinking for yourself. You believe whatever they tell you. When you bow your head, it takes away all your power. Try it. Get in your guts, feel strong, and then bow your head. You just go, okay, whatever you want. It just tosses your power out the window. Your body is the cheat code window for this meta thing. Whenever you have trouble making something happen, change your body. You sit up straight, you put your hands up in the air and wiggle them and say yay and really mean it. You'll smile, you can't help it. You'll start feeling happy. But I don't feel happy, I don't feel like celebrating, I feel depressed. Yes, well, come here and say that. I'll kick you in the ass and then make you do it. I will. You sit up straight, take a deep breath, you put your hands up and wave them, and you say, yeah, yay. You do that half a dozen times. You tell me if you still, it'll change. Because the body reshapes the energies. Doing is important. Yes, I know. Teddy's heard fish and doing. So, fundamental. Things are going to move faster over the next 7 days. It's going to be messy. Elevators going up. Your guts are going to feel like they're going down. You're going to feel like you're getting everything wrong because your gut seems to be going in the wrong direction. Quit fighting. Quit fussing. Quit whining and grumping and all of this nonsense. Get in your guts. Ground, center, breathe. If you want to, feel. If you have the energy and you know what it is, find Katon, the true self, and hold it. Right? If you want to shape something, shape it! Don't fuss. You want to do something, you scan, you decide, and you do or don't do. Right? This is the long and short. And as you stay in your guts, it will put you in line with this rushing, powerful flow. And you stay in your guts. And there's a kind of help along that process. Try and enjoy it. Remember the cheat codes. Try and enjoy it. And if you want to pay attention to something in the world, look for the amazing, the fun, the exciting, the wonderful. Look for the superheroes out there doing superhero stuff. I don't mean the guys in blue and red tights. There are buffoons everywhere. I mean the people who are doing incredible amounts to make their neighborhood better, their world better, to beautify things, to make people happier, to bring forgiveness and reconciliation. These are the superheroes. Look to them. So if you want to focus on something, focus on these, because that will help to line you up with the changes that's happening. And communicate. Talk to one another. That said, try not to forget. And you're taking my word for this, I understand that, but I'm the strangest thing any of you have ever met. It's worthwhile taking my word on this one. This, the moving from the third chakra awareness to the fourth chakra awareness, is something that happens once in the history of a species. Moving from the first to the second, or the second to the third, it only happened once in the entire billions of years of this world's evolution. Right? So, an actual change across a species or a world is a rare thing. Now, the heart is the most important of all the energy centers in the body. The others can do wonderful things and fun things and amazing things. The heart's the center of it all. The heart is what keeps you in tune with the heart of this universe, the core of Creator, Source. The heart is what matters. And so the heart is the most important chakra. If everyone in this world were listening to and dancing to the music of the heart, there'd be no war, there'd be no divorce, there'd be no violence. Everything would be working together if we all simply listened to the music of the heart and moved within that. The heart is the core, the power, the center, the amazing, the most magic part of you. And this entire world is moving from communication and struggle and conquest and dominance and submission and all the stuff of the third chakra up to the heart. So yes, only once well, in every many, perhaps millions of years sometimes, does a change like this happen. But only once does the change of the awakening heart happen. Once. It is, I feel, the most significant moment in the history of any species. From the time you were little tadpoles till the time you're bodiless consciousness floating out in space. Billions of years in between there. This one moment's the most important. This one moment's the most significant. And you are alive and aware and at the center of it. This is a thing to pay attention to. This is a kind of astounding, phenomenal magic. The probability of it happening by chance is so small as to be almost elite. In the entire, almost infinitesimal, right? In the entire history of your species, from when it began to when it ends, it becomes something totally other. This event happens once. And this is that time. It's happening now. And this next week is this powerful, increasing and increasing and increasing rushing towards it. Pay attention! This is phenomenal. Try and be aware. That said, have fun. Good night.